Hi everyone, my name is Teacher MJ and the videos that I'm making are intended for the secondary students of KIS International School here in Vientiane, Laos. If you are not from KIS, it's okay. I hope that you can learn something from this video. Currently, we are in isolation to protect ourselves from the coronavirus infections. However, learning never stops. So before we start this video, I'd like to make sure that you have the following things with you. You have your course book, your notebook, and a pen. You can watch this video in many places, but I prefer you find a comfortable place and I suggest you wear your headphones. You can pause the video to take down notes and repeat if you need so. If you have any questions, you write them down and don't hesitate to send them to me in WhatsApp so I can address your questions. So if you are ready, I am ready too. So it's time to study geography with Teacher MJ. Hello everything, hello everyone. Hi guys, thank you for staying in tuned with my videos, and I know that you are really watching them because I checked my analytics in my YouTube account. I see that your classes or the videos for you are usually having longer views. Okay, I am actually not looking for more views, but I'm looking for longer views because it means to me that you're watching the video properly, you're taking down notes, and you are understanding the best way possible and you can through the videos that I'm sending. I hope you will continue that way of learning. I know that it must be very hard for some of you, especially with your attention in watching boring videos that I make, but I hope that you can learn more and you will be having enough drive and motivation so that you would be able to pass this subject, and eventually if you want to continue on learning geography further when you go to year 9 and you have to have a foundation of geographical knowledge when you are in year 7 and you are in year 8. Okay, once again, welcome back to our lesson, and this is the earthquake patterns in New Zealand. Yesterday I gave you a video that discusses about the different types of plate boundaries present in New Zealand. So I'm not going to go into details about it, but we will move on to your question or guide questions of the maps found on page 41 of your book. Okay. And as we discussed that, I will also be giving you some key terms and information that usually is associated with studying about earthquakes. Now, earthquake is one of the natural environment lessons that I'd like to discuss because it's very interesting, mainly because we cannot tell when an earthquake can happen. We may be able to predict historically, but not, we can say an earthquake or where an earthquake may happen, but we cannot really tell when an earthquake will happen. So here are some key terms to remember. We have depth. It's the distance of the movement of the rock from the surface of the crust. And then we have magnitude or the intensity. It is the word used to describe the overall strength or size of an earthquake. So here we have the Richter scale. It is the scale that we use in knowing how strong an earthquake is. So it ranges from 0 up to 10. Actually, there is no record of a 10 earthquake, but there are records of intent or magnitude 9, which is the highest so far in record. So we will start to feel earthquake with a magnitude 2, and then you will see the ceiling and the lights would swing if you have a 3 and 4. The walls will start to crack for a 4 and 5. 5 to 6 when your furnitures move. That means if your furnitures move, it's either being moved by a ghost or there's an earthquake. There we have some buildings will start to collapse or fall down with magnitude 6 to 7. And then a lot of buildings and infrastructure can become destroyed with magnitude 7 and above. Okay, if you want to see a lot videos of intensity 7 and above earthquakes, there's a lot of recorded videos in CCTVs all over the world with the latest earthquakes that we have experienced. And how do they form? Now, we have another set of words that you have to take down. We have epicenter, we have fault, and we have focus. Okay, so as we have learned yesterday that earthquakes happen where? They happen mainly in areas along tectonic plate boundaries. Again, the plate boundaries that we mentioned yesterday. When the country is located near or above the plate boundaries, definitely they will experience earthquake at some point. Now, the place underground, okay? The place underground, take note, underground beneath the rocks where the actual movement happens is what we call focus or the origin. Again, the focus or the origin is underground. Directly above the focus or the origin is the epicenter. That is the surface above that focus. So in this picture, you see that focus is underground. And if you trace that place, on top of that focus, you have the epicenter. Okay, that's what you will see in the news or reports about earthquake. You will hear the word, it's 5 kilometers, okay, under Vientiane, Laos. So 5 kilometers will be the focus and the epicenter is Vientiane, Laos. The epicenter usually talks about the city or the place itself, while the focus is how deep it is underground. And when it happens, cracks, okay, can occur, and you will see fault lines here. You will see a crack or an opening in the ground, which is where the pressure is released, and that will show you fault lines. And then that's the time that a ripple of movements or seismic waves will be felt throughout the place. Okay? So you have magnitude, we have focus or origin, we have epicenter, we have fault, and now we have seismic waves. A lot of words, okay? But I know that you can follow through. Now, going back to page 41 of your books, you can pause for now to look into the 3 maps on page 41. So we will be examining the patterns of earthquakes and volcanic activities in New Zealand. On page 41, there are a couple of questions for each of the map. And try to formulate answers for each question on the map. And then as we go along, you can verify with me whether your questions or whether your answers are actually correct. So where would you base your answers? You base your answers on the previous photos from page On page 40, at the same time, the knowledge and the information that I have discussed about plate boundaries and how earthquakes and volcanoes would form. So look page 41 or read through page 41, formulate answers, and then I'm going to discuss after a few minutes. You can pause the video for now. Pause it now. What are you waiting for? All right, so let's try and verify your answers. So let's take a look at the picture or the map on page 41. So the question number 1 is asking, what is the pattern of volcanic activities in New Zealand? So in your map, you see the triangles, they represent the volcanoes in New Zealand. And what is the pattern? So the pattern is more volcanic fields are present in the North Island because, again, of the presence of plate boundaries. Now, what type of plate boundaries can cause formation of volcanoes? We have constructive plate boundaries and destructive plate boundaries. So the combination of these plate boundaries can create volcanoes and can also cause earthquakes. And if it happens underwater, tsunamis can occur. Moving on, let's go to the second map. The second map shows deep earthquakes, and the colors represent how deep they are. Now, usually deep earthquakes are considered to be 40 kilometers underground, and they can barely be felt because they're too deep. So to question the first answer, what is the pattern of deep earthquakes in New Zealand? So we can say that deep earthquakes are felt more on the northern part of New Zealand and a few at the southern part, but most of them are in the north. Here, if you divide the country in north and south, most of the deep earthquakes happen in the north. The constructive plate boundary is present there, causing small and deep earthquakes which are barely felt by humans. Now again, why is it that it is constructive plate boundaries? Because constructive plate boundaries happen mostly under oceanic fields or oceanic plates, and oceanic plates usually are deep or underwater. And let's take a look at the last one. This map shows shallow earthquake patterns. What is the pattern? So it shows that it is scattered all over the country. Look at the dots, the pink dots. It's everywhere. And it's a pretty easy way to explain, mainly because New Zealand is sitting on top of two plate boundaries. And we know that when there is plate boundaries, or you are in a plate boundary, there will be a lot of earthquakes that may occur. And having known that it is between the Australian and the Pacific plate, it will have complex plate boundaries. It means faults can happen anywhere. Earthquakes deep and shallow can occur, and it can cause a lot of damage. Okay, so that is all about the earthquake patterns found in New Zealand. Okay, so for just an evaluation of your understanding about earthquakes, what I'd like you to do is to put these points on in order. So put the following statements in order to explain how earthquakes happen. So I have 6 statements here. All you have to do is to rewrite them in an orderly manner. Okay, you write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as number 1 as the first thing to happen, second, third, fourth, until the 6th, which is the last thing to happen when earthquakes occur. Again, you have to put them on order, having number 1 as the first one to happen and the 6th as the last one to occur. Okay, and send your answers to ThinkWave. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. And I have one more announcement. I will give you a test on Friday, and your test will cover 3.1 to 3.2. Okay, everything about earthquake and plate boundaries and New Zealand. Okay, that's only 30 items, and that will be recorded as your progress test for this month. Have a great day.